Greetings, this is the Grumpy Old Slan, and today I'd like to take a quick look at an old game magazine I used to read when I was a kid. It's a French magazine called Jeux, Stratégies. The title literally means games and strategy. This is issue 1, and we are going to go through it quickly. So right off the bat on the cover, we see a hex map here, and there's a note here that included in the magazine is a war game previously unpublished. So let's start scrolling. There's a little introduction about the magazine, some advertising, the table of content, and here we see where the focus of this magazine is. It's on board games, classic games, so chess, Scrabble, bridge, Go, checkers, tarot. But there's also a lot of puzzles, there's articles, an interview. Let's take a quick look. So this is news from the games world and reviews of games and books, some more news and reviews, an article on computer games. So like this was 1980, if my memory serves. And so we can see that you wanted to play a game, you needed a dedicated machine for that game. They talk about the chess playing machines. They actually ran the games between two machines, see which one would be better. Bridge, checkers, backgammon. A quick article on Boggle and how to play, and here are some puzzles. So there's a maze. Their mazes tend to be more complex than what we're used to. So for example, in this one, there are teleportation portals. So if you get to a diamond, you could teleport to any of the other diamonds, and so on. They could get very complex. Some logic games involving numbers and cards. An interview with Georges Perec, who was a French crossword and other puzzle creator. He also wrote the longest palindrome in French. It's like pages long. It's just insane. Some chess problems. Same thing for Scrabble. Bridge. I should scroll through. Go problems. Like checkers problems. Tarot. An interesting puzzle. These shapes, you cut them out, you can make a square, but you can also make a triangle with them. You have to try to do both. Some advertisement, more ads. If anyone remembers programmable calculators, this is a game you could program on one of your calculators. They gave you the code. All you need to do was type it into your calculator. And here's the article of greatest interest. It's on war games. It's a history of war games from the very beginnings in the 1700s. Some recommendations. Some of these are not considered classics, like Panzer Blitz and Panzer Leader. I've also heard a lot of good about Dreadnought. And in this last section here, where it just talks about how the settings for war games can be all the way from antiquity to the Third World War. And they talk about there's just a wide range of historical settings and geographical settings that are used. And in this next to last paragraph right here, I'll just quickly translate it on the fly here, and it just says, fantasy teams know of great success in the US. We will cite Dungeons and Dragons from TSR and The War of the Rings from SPI, this last one directly inspired by the works of Tolkien. Now, they clearly haven't played D&D because they think it's a war game. And while D&D, clearly has roots in wargaming, by 1980, it was its own thing. It was a role-playing game. It wasn't thought of as a war game. But we will see. These people will eventually play a key role in introducing D&D to the French world. And while they don't know about it yet, when they discover it, oh boy, are they ever happy. Quickly look at the rest of the magazine. So after the article on a history of war games and some recommendations, we have some basic tactics that you can use. And this is the rules of the game they've included with the magazine. It's called The War of the Dukes. They basically explain all the rules. If you're familiar with war games, it's nothing highly unusual. This is a map, the battle map. We here have the results for when you roll for battle, the effects of terrain, the types of terrains, the effect on movement and on combat. This is the turn tracker, so you have 15 turns to complete the game. These are your tokens to cut out and then use. And the basic idea is that the duchies of Wolfenburg here and Orfburg here have been at war for centuries, and they always fight for possession of the island of Kaiserburg and for the space, the land between the two rivers here. So currently this space belongs to Orfburg, but Kaiserburg belongs to Wolfenburg, and they're going to try to fight to, end the, you want to end your game with both territories in your possession. So keep what you have and take what the other one has. Go. Very basic war game, but a good introduction for anyone who's not familiar with it. And here we have the puzzles. So word games, logic puzzles, geometry, mazes, riddles, it's all here. Sorry, the scroll's not working well. So all these puzzles, they could be interesting. Some could be actually integrated into your game. They're still like finding their space, but they're clearly in love with games and puzzles and enigmas. Puzzle even presented in the shape of a comic strip here. An article on Gomoku Ninuki, which is kind of the equivalent of tic-tac-toe, using a Go board and Go stones. And the goal is to have 5 stones of the same color in a line, either horizontal, vertical, or in a diagonal. Of course, your opponent will try to do the same thing and prevent you from doing it. The rules are much simpler than Go, but they're a great way to introduce young players to the game. And here we have the solutions to all these puzzles, riddles, and mazes in the very same issue, which is really appreciated by kids. In any case, this was a look at the first issue of Jeux, Stratégies. This has been the Grumpy Old Slan, and I'll see you next time.